The Holy Gospel according to Matthew, the 28th chapter.
Glory to you, Lord.
Let's read together. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord, descending from heaven, came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised, as he said. Come see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he was going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him. This is my message for you." So they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them and said, "Greetings." And they came to him, took hold of his feet, and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
He is risen. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You may be seated. Have you ever been surprised, and I mean completely caught off guard by unexpected good news, by unforeseen joy? Anything ever happen in your life that seemed too good to be true? What evidence did you have to have in order to trust it? What did you need to have happen to go tell others what you experienced? This is the story of Easter morning. Surprising news. Too good to be true. On Easter morning, without even knowing that they had crossed over some boundary, the mourners left the old world where hope is constantly in danger, where might makes right, where peace has little chance, where the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, where the weak all eventually suffer under some Pontius Pilate or another, where the leaders hatch murderous plots, where dead people stay dead. Oh yes, those early morning mourners crossed a boundary as they arrived at Jesus' tomb, and they entered this surprising, startling, breathtaking world of resurrection. It was a moment that changed the world, and it's a moment that still changes our expectations even today, 2,000 years later. Because God is still in the surprise business. God is still leading and speaking. God is still working with us, transforming us. God still works through our suffering, our discouragement, our despair, our lack of vision, our dead spirits to transform us, to change us into unforeseen possibilities. God promises resurrection, and we can count on that promise, no matter how long we walk in the old before Easter world. And whether or not God is using earthquakes and angels and empty tombs and rolling stones to reach you, God is still leading you forth from your burial tomb today. Jesus' words on Easter morning, "Do not be afraid," those words still ring true. But remember, always Jesus' words come with instructions. He said, "Do not be afraid," and then he said, "And now go do what you have to do. Go tell the good news. Go share what you have received. Do not be afraid. Go." Do not be afraid. Of what are we afraid? Of what is our congregation fearful? What barriers need to come tumbling down for this congregation to proclaim the surprising news of resurrection? Again, The way the world used to be before Easter, if something troubling got in the way, like a call for justice or a worker for peace or an advocate for mercy, the world would just kill the problem. It would be done with. But now, Jesus is alive. Justice, righteousness, mercy, and peace cannot be dismissed with a cross or a sword anymore. Justice rolls down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. So we have to decide where we stand and what we will do in this sometimes frightening, always surprising new resurrection world. Where do you stand? And where does our congregation stand? What are our expectations? During the season of Lent that leads up to Easter, our congregation has been reflecting theologically on the topic of suffering. Our goal to find hope in the midst of suffering. Because we understand that the mission of Jesus was not to wipe out all human suffering and take away all human pain, but to enter so fully into our suffering and pain that no one will ever be apart from God. We turn to a surprising God to find strength to keep on going. No wall is a secure wall. No weapon is a secure weapon. Security for us is the love of God in Jesus. Security for the church is the example of Jesus who went to the cross. And it is still a surprise, no matter how many Easters we live through. It is still surprising to remember that Easter is not just an event that happened once upon a time, some 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, but it is Easter on whatever day you discover your need for God, on whatever day you can be surprised by God. When you discover that all the Good Fridays of your life cannot destroy the surprises that God has in store for you. So, let this be your holy surprise day. Sense your need for God's love, for renewal, for faith, for inner peace. Know that the tomb which holds your fear, that tomb is empty. And please know this, wherever you are in your faith journey, you're always welcome here, just as you are, to stand witness to the rising of the sun, to stand witness with a community to the power of love, to stand witness to a life more powerful than death. Oh yes, those mourners on Easter morning, they were surprised to find an empty tomb, a grave turned into holy surprise. God enjoys creating holy surprises, don't you know? Keep returning to Easter. God will give you what you need. God will give you the courage, the determination to follow, to be disciples, to love God, love others, serve. And most of all, God will continue surprising you. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.